All right, so here's my last example out of chapter 19. One of the input elements covered in the Snyder text here, and I'm on page 585 if you want to follow along here. We've worked with the button, we've worked with the text box. What we haven't worked with yet is radio buttons. All right, and radio buttons allow us to make a choice, and I think we can look at an example here in our temperature conversion to do that. And what I'm going to suggest here is that we use a single text box with a radio button that we can click and either go Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit. All right, so that's our next kind of rendition of this in our user interface. So I'll kind of use the same sequence I've been using in the past here. Let me close this off. I'll drag this off to the side for just a moment here. I'm going to use a copy, and I'll use a paste again. Bring that back on the screen. I'll rename this guy. And then call it copy. And here we want to use, this will be example 5.6 again, and we're going to use some radio buttons. So I'm going to put radio on there. All right, so I have that there. I'm just going to drag that on, drag and drop into my notepad editor. Okay, and I haven't been very good about updating this because I'm trying to keep these tutorials a little bit short here, but we're doing, I need to update my title here. Temperature conversion, example 5.6. Let me just put some little bit of code in here. Let's put inside there a, what do we need? We need a line break. Okay, and in here we're going to use, we'll just put radio buttons. All right, and we're going to use a single text box. So I'm going to pull this second one out. Delete that. So we want one text box, and we want to have some radio buttons here. So I'm going to use, instead of the type text, I'm going to use radio. Easy enough, huh? Give it a name. You're going to find a lot of the syntax is very similar here. And so there's a radio button. Not a big deal, huh? I'll leave it at that. I'm going to save it, and let's go ahead and run it. We'll keep using Chrome. We got Chrome pulled up here. All right, so there's our radio button. Not a whole lot to be excited about just yet, but let's continue to develop this now. So we got a radio button. I have some text over here that I want to get rid of. First, I don't want an on change event because we don't have text box 2 anymore. So let me try and correct some of this here. So let's get rid of this on change event because that no longer exists. Rid of this information afterwards here. So we just have a text box here, text box 1. I'll save it, and I'm just going to do a quick refresh here. Okay, and it's zeroed out right now. All right, now we radio button. We're going to make some choices here. We're going to go from Celsius. We'll go Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'm going to put a second radio button on there. Use copy, and I'll use paste. And this one will be from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So I'm going to save it, and let's see what this user interface is looking like now. Okay, it's a little different. So let me do this. Let me put these on separate lines. I'll do that very quickly and very easily here. I'll use a line break here. Okay, and so what I want to do when I click on this, and you can see I got my 2 radio buttons, but when I click on this one, I want to change what's in text box 1 here from Celsius to Fahrenheit. If I click on this one, I want to change what's in text box 1 here from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So let's write some code now. Okay, so we'll use the on change event now with the radio button. On change equals, we're going to take text box 1 dot value, and we're going to assign to it, what is it going to be, 9 divided by 5 times, scroll over here so you can see the whole thing, what's currently in text box 1 dot operator dot value plus 32. Okay, so that will change it, and we'll use 9/5 times what's currently in there and add 32 to it. Let's do the same thing here, and I'm going to use a little copy and paste. When we convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, it'll be a little different equation, but the idea will be the same. So text box 1, if when we change down here, text box 1 is going to be 5 divided by 9 times, and I need a parentheses here, text box 1 dot value minus 32. And I'll end my parentheses there. All right. So again, we're using an on change event, just like we did in our last tutorial. You do a refresh over here. Okay, so I got 0 degrees. Let's go from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Well, that converts to 32. Let's convert that back. All right, let's put another number in here. Let's put 212 degrees in here and convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Well, that doesn't make much sense. Let's start here at 212. And let's convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Let's start with 212 degrees here. Okay, so if we got 212 here, we want to go from, it's 212 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to convert that to Celsius. Okay, that works. Now Fahrenheit, let's go 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and let's convert that to Celsius. Whoops, I need to go back this way again. Okay, so 68, gotta make sure I understand how this works now. 68 degrees, and we want to go from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, that's 20, that's correct. Let's go back over here to Celsius, and let's say if we have 100 degrees, let's go down here. So if we have 212 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to convert that to Celsius. Fahrenheit to Celsius. Do we have that right? Well, we're going to go Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so if it's 100 degrees Celsius, we'll convert that to Fahrenheit. That works just fine. It's my interpretation here that's confusing. Okay, so let's put a Celsius degree in here. Put 0 degrees. Well, let's put a Fahrenheit degree in here now. Let's put in 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and let's convert that to Celsius. Okay. Anyways, you kind of get the hang of this. You can play with this a little bit. You can rewind and look at this example a second time, but it does illustrate pretty clearly here the on change event and the use of buttons.